every yes is a no to other things. If I say yes to covering a case that's not going to make me any money, I'm saying no to a productive afternoon. You think, you need to take every case, and that's an albatross. You're going to drown with those bad cases. So really keep being selective and don't sell yourself short. And in the long run, it'll pay off.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Answering Legal's Everything Except the Law podcast. I am your host, Nick Werker. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the podcast where we share expert advice on all the parts of running a law firm that attorneys weren't exactly trained for back in law school. Now today on the show, I am joined by Paul Campson, managing partner at the firm Campson Campson. Paul is in a very select group of people as he's not only been working in law for over 2 decades, but he has run a firm in New York and New York City, to be more specific, for 22 years. So needless to say, he has seen a lot over the years and has a ton of wisdom to share, and we are thrilled to have him on the show today. Paul, thank you so much for being here. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your legal background?
Sure. So I've been a practicing attorney for 32 years. I'm married to an attorney. We actually met in court. We've had our own law firm, Campson Campson, for 22 years.
That's awesome. How did you meet in court? Were you facing each other?
Well, I of course had the plaintiff, as I always do. She was the third party defendant, so she represented my client's employer. So we weren't exactly adversaries, but we really weren't on the same side either.
That sounds like my marriage. So
yes.
So I mentioned in the opening, you've run a personal injury firm in New York City for over 2 decades. Obviously, not a small accomplishment to understate it. What would you say has been your secret to longevity, working in the legal profession for so long and in the most competitive market?
Sure. Well, it really is. There are so many really good lawyers. I think in New York, I think the key is to be able to adapt and roll with the punches, and try to see what's coming down the pike. The COVID litigation was crazy. Asbestos was crazy. Currently now there's a lot of mold infestation and toxic torts. That's a hot area. So you just got to keep your eye open to what's coming down the pike and make sure you're poised to capitalize on it.
So the legal world obviously has gone through a lot of changes in recent years. Yes. And so I know that you stay current, but what does staying current mean to you? And what have you done during this time? Have you noticed that your firm has had to evolve or adapt to any new working habits?
Yes. So, I mean, to be successful in the law business in New York City, which is cutthroat, but really any business, I think you have to be proactive. You have to continue to educate yourself and your potential clients. So there's a lot to, reading all the local newspapers, watching the podcasts, watching the TV shows, the local news. There's something always happening, and it's happening to everybody in the city at the same time.
So, and this is pretty apparent for me too, because like if I'm talking to a lawyer who's interested in my service, I have to know about all the different technologies that they use. So I have to really keep up on things. Something came across my desk today, and somebody asked me, can we use this platform to, we're working on new features, so everything is in alpha, and can we integrate with this? And I'm like, yeah, we can, but that's a competitor, so we don't really want to.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious because it's been, obviously New York is I don't want to say things are scarce, but it's very fast paced. So in order to land a client, you have to move faster. So have you had to adopt any new technology or automate anything inside of your practice in order to stay current?
A great question, Nick. So even before COVID, we were completely paperless. We had everything scanned and cloud-based and everything. Really, the last piece of the puzzle for us was making sure that we were contacting potential clients in real time. Because what happens is they'll see a commercial, they'll see hear a radio ad, a Facebook ad, whatever it may be. They'll call the number, and if you're not right there at that time, they're gone. They're on to the next attorney because there's a lot of people out there. So the last piece of our puzzle was answering legal, quite frankly. To have the ability to be texted, called, and emailed when a new client is on the phone is a game changer. Because even if I'm not available, my wife Dawn will pick it up, a staff member will pick it up. This client is, while they're on the phone, they're being attended to. And it's crucial.
And everything is so fast paced, and we think like, oh, New York is so fast paced, but it really is everywhere. And I talk about like process all the time, how you have to answer the phone and how this intake has to go this way. I've been talking about it for so long, but I've never personally been in a situation where I needed to hire a lawyer until last week. Finally, I got my first speeding ticket. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud. My wife is very, very angry because I was going very fast. Don't do that. And we know this lawyer for decades. He uses the service. He's got all this set up. So I call him up. I'm like, oh, so what do you want me to do? You want me to take a picture of the ticket and send it to you? And then you're going to send me a retainer. And then I fill out the retainer. And then you go to the court. And if you have to go back, it's going to cost me extra. He's like, oh yeah, my whole spiel. I don't even have to tell you. We were dying. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. He was slow to adapt even. Like we've been friends with him for so long, and he was reluctant to use the service because I don't want to, do business with a friend and this. So when Joe, the producer, he told me that you were coming on, I was very excited because I would like to hear from somebody who has really used all of the tools at their disposal.
Yes.
And I know that. So I'm curious to see what you think of this, because this topic of remote work in the legal world has become so divisive.
Yes.
So there are a ton of firms, and I'm sure you know a lot of them, who are, I let all my employees work from home. They're great, they're productive. And then there's the others who are, I can't trust my employees to work from home. How do I know that they're working? It's going to lead to a decrease in productivity, and it's going to affect my bottom line. What are your feelings about working remotely?
So we're big proponents of working remotely. We have no employees. We have virtual assistants. Everybody's a 1099. There's, we have physical office space. In fact, we have two in Midtown and up in White Plains. But 90% of the time I'm working from my home office. I do meet clients in the office. But listen, if you can't trust your employees to do the work, you need to get new employees, and maybe figure out your hiring process. Why'd you hire them or what have you? Having them in the office is no guarantee of productivity. It's really not. And what COVID has taught us is, let people work on their own time frame at their own pace. One of the virtual assistants we have is a stay-at-home mom with a young baby. She's more productive at 1 o'clock in the morning when the baby's up. And during the day, she may be at the park or at the school. That's fine. As long as the work gets done, who cares, right? And I think people should be learning that lesson. If they're not, then it's going to pass them by.
I like your point. And so I see remote work as if you're not getting the productivity that you want, it falls on management. It doesn't necessarily fall on the employee 100%. Because you have to be in communication to let the employee know what's expected of them. And if they're falling, whose fault is it? I don't see it as any other thing. I do like the idea. So I have a team that does the development, and they work at night. I love it because I get to come in the morning and there's a ton of work that got done. And then I can keep going. I don't have to, be in communication. It's just, they do it at night. I come in, to me, it's the best thing in the world. But you mentioned before that you use our company,
Yes.
Answering Legal, which obviously I think is like the best thing in the world and makes me
And
happy.
I agree.
So I want to talk a little bit about our relationship. Your firm, Answering Legal. Can you tell us why your firm made the decision to not only reach out to an answering service, but what the process of getting started with us was
Sure.
like?
So, we had toyed with answering services, and there are a bunch out there, like lawyers, and they all have some good features and so forth. But we realized it was time to in order to really increase the productivity and to scale, we needed a company like Answering Legal. The onboarding was super simple. I forget with the first 30 days when we're trying to figure out what the price point is and so forth, that was 100% transparent. We got a phone call. We went through the numbers. Everything was, no surprises, because nobody likes surprises. And there have been times when I've been in California and, 3 hours behind in New York, and called up at 3 o'clock in the morning just for kicks, my office, and there it is, their answer. So I mean, we've put you to the test, and we've never had a drop call. And just recently, we're in the process of integrating Answering Legal with our case management software, which I think is going to be really, really terrific.
I'm so glad to hear that, because the team has worked really hard on getting the integration set up. So it's very cool to hear that you're using that. That was an alpha for a little bit. We will be right back after this short ad.
When a client calls, they're really looking for immediate service. Because we have Answering Legal, we're able to see every client message, and we're able to contact our clients immediately. My name is Margot Gaines, and I'm a partner at Gaines & Musico. We started using Answering Legal because we were unable to answer all of our phone calls. Answering Legal has allowed my firm to get hired on numerous clients that we never would have. We get messages throughout the night and on the weekends. Sometimes we're in court or we're dealing with other clients. And because of Answering Legal, my partner and I are able to address any client concerns or any new clients immediately, and it's really increased our business. Answering Legal has allowed us to service our clients in a way that their needs are met and their phone calls are answered, and we're able to spend more time doing the things that are necessary for our clients.
To me, I'm a big proponent of people first. So when I'm trying out a company, I want to know what the support is like. I want to know what the people. I want to know what the turnover is, because I want to know who I'm working with.
Yes.
When I call in, I want to know that I have an established relationship, that they know what they're talking about when it pertains to my business. Otherwise, it's just it makes it more difficult for me to get the help that I need.
It's so funny, Nick, because just yesterday we got a phone call, and the Answering Legal receptionist, she called me. I picked up. I recognized the number. I picked up, and she said, "I've got a new case on the phone, but I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's your practice area. But just if it is, let me know." It was a lemon law case. It's not what we do. But it was really interesting that she was dialed in and really knew what Campson Campson does. So that was very edifying.
That's very cool. I hope that I'm going to find out who that was. I bet you I can look into that, find it, and reach out to that person. So I want to ask you, because I think I have trouble with this too, is I'm a big in-house guy. Whenever there's a problem, I want to learn how to solve it. I was going to coding boot camp at night because I wanted to learn how to code my website, because I'm crazy and I want to, personally, I really am. I'm a control freak. So something like, especially for a law firm, because the lifeblood of your firm is the phone.
Sure.
So, handing off that phone call to an outside service is I don't know. It's to me, it's like a leap of faith. And so I don't take that lightly. I understand, but I'm sure that a lot of lawyers out there feel hesitant to sort of outsource this process. Why would you say reaching out for phone answering help is the right decision for your firm?
Well, well, certainly it was the right decision for my firm, but more importantly, I think it's the right decision for most every firm. I always thought that, I'm a trial lawyer. I stand up in front of a jury. I try to convince them. I ask them for money, right? I think, you have a certain way. You're personable, whatever. You're a people person, whatever that may be. I was finding, and it's a slow realization because it's a shot to the ego, that I'm not great or as good as I think I was on intakes or on the phone, right? Because, if a client calls me and, they've got a good case, I'm like, okay, yep, you got a good case. I'll email you the paperwork. We'll do this. You'll e-sign. We'll do that, blah, 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 and we're good to go. They want much more, and that's not my wheelhouse. Is not what I do. It's your wheelhouse, and it's what you do. So once I came to the realization that, hey, I'm not as good as I think I was, and you guys are better, then why not? Only a fool would not take advantage of that.
That's really funny. But I see it almost as the same thing, like getting a traffic ticket, right? I could go to court.
Sure.
I could try and talk to people. They don't want to talk to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're never going to see me again. We don't have a relationship. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't even know where I'm going. I don't know where to park, So it's like, let the experts handle it. Why would I not call somebody who's practiced in that field and allow them to handle it? So I like that metaphor that it's like, I think I'm really good, but maybe I'm not. I think I'm a smart guy. I can go talk to.
But also, is it the optimum use of your time, right? I mean, if COVID taught us anything, and even before then, it's it's time management, it's optimization of your time. I'm not sure. I think it was Naval Ravikant who said, figure out what you're worth per hour, what you would bill per hour, and let's just say it's $100, just to make up a number. Anything that if you run to the supermarket or the dry cleaners, and it takes an hour, if you could pay somebody $50 to do those chores in that hour, you've saved $50 and you can focus on growing your business and what you need to focus on. I'm not making money. I'm not here to serve my clients by going to the grocery store, right?
I love that idea. And people think of that as spending money. They don't think of that as allowing themselves to earn more money.
Right.
So in the same breath, I know you said you don't even really have employees. It's sort of all outsourced. Aside from phone answering, what other tasks do you sort of delegate to outside agencies or hires who are not physically in your office?
So virtually everything. They've taken control of my email. They've taken control of my social media. Right? They schedule right from my email. They put appointments into my case management system. They proactively follow up with clients, which reduces the call from the client saying, what's happening with my case? Because we're proactively reaching out to them saying, hey, we're in court next week. We'll let you know then. This type of thing. So virtually everything that I shouldn't be doing. I mean, I should be in court. I should be settling cases. I should be trying cases. I should be talking to new clients after they've been signed up. That's what I should be doing. Negotiating with insurance companies, talking to judges. I shouldn't be doing the other stuff that, frankly, I'm not great with an Excel spreadsheet, right? That's not what I do. But I have people who are really, really great with that, and that's fantastic.
I think that's a really good example of something that is a specialized, like you definitely need somebody to work on an Excel spreadsheet. So I think this is a cool question because I see you as a very forward thinker and very on the forefront of this idea of doing what you're good at and then delegating other things to people who are good at those things. So if you had the opportunity to communicate with your former self during the first year of running your practice, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, the advice I'd give myself is based on a book that's really become my mantra as I've gotten older. It's a book by Derek Sivers, who was a musician who founded CD Baby and then sold it for $10 million, whatever he did. He has a book called Hell Yeah or No. And the question you always have to ask yourself is, is it either a hell yeah? If it's not, it's a no. Hey, do you want to go to our neighbor's wedding next summer? Hell yeah or no? And, I think when you're younger, so to my younger self, I would say you have to say yes more. But as I grow older, you have to say no more. Because every yes is a no to other things. If I say yes to covering a case that's not going to make me any money, I'm saying no to a productive afternoon. Right? So, but also I would say to my younger self, you think, you need to take every case, and that's an albatross. You're going to drown with those bad cases. So really keep being selective and don't sell yourself short. And in the long run, it'll pay off.
I love that advice for younger attorneys who do feel like they need to take every case, even if they know that it's sunk,
Yep.
So if anyone is listening to this and has liked what you said today, wants to connect with you further, where can they connect with you?
All over social media. We have Better Call Paul. We have 866 Paul Wins, CampsonLaw.com. Our phone number on social media at Campson Law, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere.
Better Call Paul. I love that. Paul. So on that note, Paul, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Obviously, thank you to all of our listeners. Be sure to check out previous episodes on the show, but links to everything covered in today's conversation can be found in the description of this episode. So we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we will be back with another episode of Everything Except the Law soon. Paul, Excellent. Thank you again.
Thanks, Nick. I
really
appreciate it.